Yeah. All right. Call the meeting to order and we'll start with the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First on the agenda today is our consent agenda. Will be the minutes from our last meeting, warrants or checks. Transportation contracts, JV approvals, and out of district agreement acknowledgements. Do we have any questions on minutes or warrants? No. Okay. It's the year end stuff, so there's a lot of warrants. I was for signing for, it seemed like ever. One day last week. I didn't really have any questions. Harry, did you have any questions? I don't. And, yeah. I guess I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I will second. All in favor? Aye. Moving on to guest comments. Members of the public are encouraged to comment during this time regarding items not listed on the agenda. Chair will seek public comments on agenda items as they occur. By law, the board cannot take action on matters discussed during the public comment portion of the meeting, but may include a matter raised during this time on a future agenda. The board would like to remind everyone to avoid commenting on private personnel matters, private student matters, and pending legal matters. Do we have any public comments? There are no members of the public here, so I guess we have no comments. We can move right along to action items. So action item A is out of district agreements. And this is a possibly closed session. We're gonna go ahead and close the meeting while we discuss out of district agreements. All right, so looking for a motion.
So I make a motion to deny transfer to Kyla for student number 5228188060.
I second that motion. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And then second motion. So now I'll take a motion to approve the rest of the out of district.
I make a motion to approve all the students except the one that has been denied from other schools to Kyla.
I'll second.
These
All in
are
favor? Aye. Aye.
these are current Kyla kids.
Yeah, but they're from other schools.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Moving along. 26-27 preliminary budget adoption.
This is just a preliminary adoption according to the law. We have to have a meeting in June. It has to be presented. Einstein, we're working on it. We have a committee that's been working. The final will be in August. The actual operating budget will be presented. Preliminary is usually district general fund. And it's still subject to change up until August.
What weight does the preliminary carry? I mean, is it just basically a guideline or?
No, it'll probably be the final. These will be your line items for the general fund. It breaks it down line by line. Come August, unless something like maybe my auditor will come and say, the bill's going to be this amount. We had budgeted for 10,000, he said it's going to be 12. So then we'll change that line item and adjust somewhere else. Try and hit that bottom budget.
So we've adopted one every year I've been on the board. It always starts as preliminary. And then we finalize it when more. That's August, right?
Correct.
Yeah, we finalize it before the school year starts in August. So go ahead.
Yeah, I think they want it presented to the board as preliminary in June, just to show that it's being worked on, that you are doing it.
So we're not
I'm gonna ask a dumb question here. What is the, even if it's adopted, what is the function of the school board? Are we to review each line item?
So, a budget committee, that you basically rely on, so it's 2 board members, committee members, staff members. We'll review last year's budget, what we spent line for line, we'll look at future expenses, what are coming up. It's possible to underspend some line items, it's possible to overspend some line items. As long as you stay under that final budget number, it's a guideline, you know, this is what your salaries, are estimated to be, this is what your books are going to be estimated to be.
So in a lot of ways, it's a guideline or an estimate.
Yeah. And so like when we pay bills, actually look at the budget and you'll see all those codes on the right-hand side and it refers right back to the budget. Because you have to account for every dollar you spend. Well, what line item did it come out of? And if you look at those, what's coded to that budget, you'll see exactly what line item it came from.
Like, it's like a college degree just for your budgeting. Sharon's exceedingly good at it. Trying to keep this in a semblance of order for you. Do we have any questions on the preliminary budget for the year? No, I went through it. I didn't see anything that really struck me.
And the one in August will have, your transportation, your tuition, but we don't have those numbers yet. Because they're based off of year-end balances sometimes, and I won't balance June until the middle of July.
So I will take a motion to approve our preliminary budget.
I move to approve the preliminary budget.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right.
You can,
I know I can. When I ask for it, it's like, I suppose I could say may instead of may. I don't know.
By the way, just as a parliamentarian, you don't make a motion, you move.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'm just,
We've always done it.
there's semantics.
We've always done it the other semantic way.
I'm just lightening the.
Good. We're gonna move on to our 26-27 trustee board goals. So this is in our packet and it is somewhere here. Okay, past all the other districts. So last year, we had a goal of a monthly visit to school, to improve our facility and safety stuff and include long-term facility plan, which I think we got done pretty well last year, didn't we? Did we get that done pretty well last year? The
Yes.
Facility.
Yeah.
safety plan?
I think so.
Oh,
We still have a lot of work to
yeah,
do.
the work
We,
needs-
I think we thought we were gonna focus more on the facilities and it turned out it was more safety. So hopefully this year we can really hone in on the facilities.
that safety plan was kind of became a Goliath. A lot of work, so, that you did most of it, so.
No, the committee,
Kidding.
Um,
I gotta take you. Well,
so. Item 3 on there is MTSBA trainings, at least one annually, including the new trustee.
okay, thank you.
And I actually just went back through and took all 3 of the new trustee trainings again, just to familiarize myself, and it was actually a great refresher myself. Have you been able to do any of the?
I have not.
training or anything?
Where do you, is that something available online or?
Online.
Okay.
MTSBA.org, they have, he should be signed up with an account, so you can just,
Issues from NTSBA.
I have not gotten anything yet.
So go straight, because I signed you up through your school email. So,
Where's my school email?
we'll get you going.
Okay.
I just went through and took all of the just kind of new board member training again, and they're super helpful just with the basic information. So, so I highly suggest that, and we're gonna get you going on that a little bit more. And then last year goal was also to have at least one board member do Think Tank Thursday, on a monthly basis, for months that they have it. And that's just kind of current events, what's happening, what MTSBA is focusing on for schools in Montana. So as far as yearly goals this year, I want to sustain pretty much all of these that we're doing because they're all helpful. Is there anything else anyone's thinking that we want to add to the board members?
Let's talk about Think Tank Thursday for a second. Exactly what is it?
That's a conference call. MTSBA puts it on. And it's basically a bunch of them and they're talking about, it'll be legislative updates or funding updates or just any manner of things that affects all schools in the state of
So
Montana.
this is kind of a statewide deal then? that-
Yep, MTSBA, Montana School Board Association is what it's called. And so basically that's an association that almost all public schools are part of. And they provide our legal, defense, I guess you could call it, legal advice for the districts. They provide training. They provide a lot of lobbying, for legislative issues and things like that. What am I missing?
They're basically advocates for school boards,
Yeah.
schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a
Is-
state agency.
Is this a two-way communication or are you sitting on a class where you just listen?
A lot of times, like a think tank Thursday will be more one way, but I'm sure there's a Q&A, or you can ask questions in the chat type of thing, stuff like that. So, they didn't do one in May or June, at least the May one. If they did a May one, it's not on their website. And I didn't see an email for it, and they haven't done one in June. But all the old episodes of it are on their website. You can click and listen to it. So I do a lot of my listening while I'm working, just with an earbud in, and it's pretty helpful information. So, does anybody have thoughts on what we want to add? Do we want to add anything to our goals for the year?
Do either of you have thoughts on goals you'd like us to adopt?
See the form every month.
We barely got one today, so. Liz, do you think maybe we take the safety off of it? Because the safety plan is kind of.
Yeah, I think if
set.
having a long range facility plan,
Like, that's kind of a heavy lift, but it definitely needs to be done because the school's falling apart, so. As always, so. I mean, if we want to just kind of take safety off of it and just long range facility plan,
mhm.
keep working on that, get a better feel for the facility side of it. And that's something I know Abe and I are currently on that committee. And that could change in the future, or that could stay the same. But
I think it would be a little bit more clear too if you turn number 3 to just say all new board members complete new board member training through MTSBA, and then maybe made 4. Because if all of you did a think tank Thursday, that's your one annual training, like it says in number 3.
yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like board chair, board vice chair does think tank Thursday, and then every board member does training. Be better to do more than one, though. Maybe it's 2 annual trainings. We should set it to.
Or just each of you took a turn doing a think tank Thursday and then could report back to the board.
Yeah, I'm okay with any way of doing it. I see what you're saying, though. If we have just MTSBA training, do one, or if they
Mhm.
listen to Think Tank Thursday, that's it. But there's so much more on their site.
Mhm.
It is super helpful.
But I do think putting on there, having all of your new board members going through the new board member training is its own goal.
Yeah.
And that could be an annual goal is really important. That's how districts get themselves in troubles when they have untrained boards. So have it be its own thing.
So. Can you copy this down for me? So monthly visit to school, we're gonna maintain that. Number 2, we're gonna change to basically just facilities, maintain and improve. And that's just the long-term facilities plan. things like that. Number 3, new board member, TSBA training. And I'll include myself, like, I'll take a lot of trainings this year that I haven't taken. So, I try to do one, but I just don't get to all of them like I want to do. And then what's we want to do for number 3? State training, this one in trustees training. It already says, including new trustee training for all board members. Do you think that's enough, or like all board members going through the new trustee training as like a refresher?
Mm-mm, just new ones.
Between all and board new,
Say that again.
between, so the second line in number 3, trustee training for all, I've written new board members.
Yeah. Yeah, that works. So how do you have number 3 done?
Number 3 would be MPSBA training, at least one annually, including new trustee training for all new board members.
Okay. Do we want to do 1 training or 2 trainings? These are like 2-hour blocks. Right?
I mean, ideally, I think that it would be a minimum of 1 think tank Thursday and 1 other training.
Okay. That would make sense. So maybe word that something like a minimum of 2 trainings annually, with 1 being a think tank Thursday. Something like that. And then we'll continue number 4, think tank Thursday, at least 1 board member attend monthly. And that gets us a little more involved with the training side of it. So,
And there could be a Google Doc created, just kind of say, maybe just split it up by months. I'll go January, I'll go February.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have another question. Sure. On this, training, is that kind of an on-demand thing?
Yeah.
Anytime you feel like you want to go, okay.
Not
Yeah, we
the
can-
not the think tank Thursdays, but you can go back and watch them.
Yeah, they archive those in the same place that you take any other, their like teaching, learning type things. And it's all on their website, and the tab is something like learn and some, I forget what the tab is on their website, but
It's pretty easy to maneuver around.
yeah, it's not hard to. So,
I'll retype this and send you a draft.
yeah, that's fine. So do we wanna just put this one on hold? Or are we,
We can adopt it with amendments,
okay.
and then before it's just,
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So, everyone good on those?
Did you hear from Abe or Christina on those?
Not on anything specific with them. So, they didn't have anything specific for me. Basically, just couldn't make it, so.
Yeah.
So I hope it's okay with them. So, would anyone like to make a motion to trustee Buchholz?
Like, perfect.
I will then make a motion to approve the 26-27 pilot trustee board.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Item D, 26-27 YBGR agreement. This is something, did we put this on hold?
We did. We tabled this last month. The agreement as it reads right now will be fine. It's the same as last year, so it still has that stipulation in where we will not get charged for the CSET unless there's an emergency and we can't qualify them under, and then you still have your cap for what we're gonna spend there. I think you guys said 2,500. The reason that this was tabled was we did not know there were a bunch of rules that changed for how Chastity could pull kids. There was a therapist that was maybe being hired. Those things are all still up in the air a bit. but none of which will affect the actual contract. It's just kind of how we work within the contract. So it would be my recommendation to approve the agreement as it has been presented now.
Did we minorly change the dates too? Highlighted on this cover.
They were highlighted because last month we had two. One was for last year, one was for this year, so I highlighted them. Just to be sure we're the right year.
Okay, got it. I read this whole thing, so I have no questions on it. Sense to me. Any other questions? Okay. And I would move.
Did you want me to say anything or?
Oh, you're here. I forgot you walked in the door.
Guys, I'm late.
What would you like to say?
I'm very passionate about the program. I think it's very important. You know, do you have questions for me? I'm glad to be here. I appreciate all of you.
I am glad you're here as well. And I think the program has a lot of merit.
Chastity's really held this program together at Kyla School over the last few years, and it's really successful when you see those kids come out of program and be a part of program and be functioning in our school, and it's pretty special to me as well. So thank you, Chastity.
Thank you. And I apologize, I'm late. I was dropping off kids and we got stuck in construction.
Absolutely. Are you in the minivan? It's,
Yeah.
I was wondering earlier in the meeting, or before the meeting, I was wondering, minivan with plates in the parking models.
Mystery is.
If we have no more questions or comments,
My computer set up for motions, not
promotions,
movements.
I will take a motion to approve the 26-27 CSCT service agreement
And YBGR.
for YBGR.
I'll make a motion to approve the comprehensive school and community treatment services with YBGR.
And I say,
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Moving on, policy adoption. I'm not gonna read all of those. There are a lot of policies. Looks like a bunch of kind of minor changes to them.
So we have a policy committee that gets together. They review all policies that are presented. We look at old policies, new policies. All the first set is MTSBA's recommendation. Usually it's based off of law. That they'll tweak it for whatever happened in legislation. The second set is actually our policy, and after we had set, it's our capital assets policy. And after we had sent out this recommendation to change it from 5 to 10,000, we get a message from our auditor saying, well, you know, they're changing some of the standards now for fixed assets and we want to go to 10,000. So we were ahead of the game. Also, the other one reflected the other one. So that's why there was two with fixed assets. Also, we wanted to adjust the administration's approval of what she can before, or she can before the board. Prices have gone up so much you can't hardly even buy a computer for what the amount was. So we doubled that.
And everything else that I saw was pretty minor. Not that I have everything memorized, but
Lots of the rest of it was taking language out that had to do with high school, since we're a K-8. So when those originally came out, they didn't have a K-8 option, and now they do.
a lot of these, we just adopt the model policy. And as MTSBA puts out, that's one of the services they provide us, is kind of the policy stuff, the policy updates. So I have no problem with any of the policy changes. Anyone else have any questions, comments?
I didn't see anything I thought to be a problem.
No, I'm on the committee. I've read them all.
You're like the policy genius.
I like policy.
You like policy.
I
So you have nothing else to share as far as the policy? Go ahead.
There's one thing, we changed our fixed assets, because I said if you do, 5,000, you have to claim it in your fixed assets.
Sure.
So if you did a bundle of computer purchases, they wanted you to put in your fixed assets. I argued with the auditor stating, 5 of them go broke, how am I supposed to depreciate $5,000 with 2 and vice versa? And he said, change your policy. I said, great. So this is what was in our policy. It has to be a single purchased item that can actually depreciate.
Makes sense to me. I will take a motion to approve the policy amendments, all 20 of them or so that are on there, without naming the number.
I make a motion that you approve listed policy updates.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Last action item, 26-27 after-school program hire. Looks like Kristen can come and marry Eli.
Yep. So I put out to staff to see, so Christine Meekum has done after school in the long-term sub role for the remainder of the school year. I put out to the rest of staff because we do have 2 positions that are open for after school. So if anybody in after school wanted to, or in the school as a current staff member wanted to take that role on, Christine was excited about doing it again. However, she did not want to be tied into doing it every day. So there are certain times of the year that gets really draining. She has things scheduled for Wednesdays that make it tough. So Miss Eli and Miss Meekum approached me and asked what my thoughts would be on those 2 sharing a full-time, it's not even full-time, but this one position. So it's not filling 2 hires. That's my recommendation. It's the 2 of them being able to share the one and kind of lead the after-school program.
So if we do this, my question is, are there still gonna be times where we're gonna want a second person there with them?
I'm going to put that, I didn't put out the positions to the public yet. I just wanted to float it in the staff, really focus on this kind of leader role, and then I'll put it out but it's also something that I didn't want to do. It's hard to hire a 3-hour-a-day job now and say, okay, you're for your 3-hour-a-day job, wait 2 more months and then start. So the plan is to put that out like the end of July and then hire in August to start when school starts.
We want to hire a second person.
Yeah, we definitely need a second person.
So my thought was, we're gonna have one person in there, or are we rotating?
No, we definitely need to have 2 this year because we didn't have any applicants that had worked out. I was letting staff go when numbers got low. We did have an incident where it was nice that the second person just stayed. They had the option to or not, and they did. And it was nice to have 2 staff members present for that.
How many students participate?
We probably on average have about 18, and then we have probably about 10 by 4 o'clock. But those 10 then are very regular and stay till the 5:45 when the program closes.
Those will be parents that work in town and don't get off until 5 or 5,
Mhm.
whatever. Something else, I just lost it.
So essentially, these 2 are job sharing, 1 FTE.
They're job sharing 1.3 FTE position for the after school, yes. So if Mary has sports, Christine would for sure be there. If Mary likes to be at board meetings, so Christine would be there. And then those 2 and I will make a full calendar, probably month by month of who's going to be in.
And you just manage that at the level and
Mhm.
it works. So, I know this program, I mean, we definitely need to continue the program. It is a godsend for a lot of families. Because there's families that literally would not be able to work. for get off of school. Or their kid would stay here on the playground for 2.5 hours until they can get here without any supervision. Because that's happened in the past too, so. I definitely think it's a good program. We're not talking about that specifically, but I think these two individuals.
The other thing that we did this year that's been different is during early outs, then we did not have program, because my staff members needed to be in the staff meetings. So that will be the same regardless of who was hired in this role. It's been very clearly and explicitly put out there that on our full professional learning Fridays, there's no program for anyone to be at, so.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard any rumblings about it.
Not very many early outs now that we're going full days for.
Yeah, there's only 2 and they're butted up to spring break and Christmas break, so.
It's a pretty natural.
But we won't have after school program on those early out days either, so.
Yeah, I don't see it. But yeah, as far as hiring these two individuals, I think Ms. Meekum did a great job filling in for most of the year. I'm sure, full confidence that Mary will do a great job. Both here, they love us, so. Any other questions or comments? Well,
I think it's a great program. I think they do great.
those will be.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
I will take a motion to approve the 26-27 after-school program hires of Christine Meekum and Mary.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2026-27 after-school program hired for Steve Meekum and Mary.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Information items. Do we have anything for follow-up discussion? Do you have anything?
If we did, we'd have to put it on here.
What's that?
If we did, we'd have to put it on
Yeah.
here what it is, so.
Either. We did not have FTSBA, the think tank Thursday for training. We did not have that this month, so, I'll just reiterate. I went back through and took all the new board trustee stuff again. And I got stuff out of it as being on the board for 3 members, so, or for 3 years. So I think it's a good thing, and if you need a hand getting on there, that'll help you offline. You can figure out how.
I'm sure I can get on.
Yeah. So that's all I really have for information item B. We should all do it because it's helpful. Audit review.
So Nick and I had a phone interview with our auditor for the 24-25 school year. And our audit was great, no findings. It was great. So the only thing they talked about are fixed assets, since I said we were going to fix. Well, not fixed, but changed. But no, it was good. So,
The no findings thing, I think is the most important, right?
oh, I jumped right to that one. I don't care about the rest. So we had findings.
Have any findings, like, are we doing something wrong or are we, how do we? So,
Yes, it was very good.
Yep. Principals report.
Great,
Ready for us?
ready.
Thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, with the warrants. Right. You got one for. Oh. Maybe not there. Here's my lady.
You see, oh, signs.
Still waiting on sharing the screen.
So there's been a new update.
Take as long as you want. I'm getting all my signatures done.
When I share my, that was just, that's all.
Mine is N squiggle B squiggle.
Okay.
One last thing.
All right. So my principal's report today is just going to go over our full data from the 25-26 school year for language or ELA, or English and math, and there's some science in there. I have just a 25-26 full year in review of all the things that we did at Kyla School, and then want to update you guys on our facilities. So first is the school-wide data. This is something that Amy Iverson put together for me through our title program.
She did this last year too.
This was something she and I worked on before I was supposed to be working.
I did not hear that. Did not hear that.
So again, here's where this is English language arts. So here's our fall scores, but this is the main number we should be focusing on. So these are the percentage of our students that were proficient. So that's where we want them. Here was winter, so we made about a 6% gain. And then here was spring. So from fall to spring, we increased about 9% of the number of students at our school that were proficient in ELA this year. Here's kind of a nice visual of the same exact data, but just so we're looking for the greens, teals, and blues. Something that is one of my goals for next year is to really hammer in that GT program and what we're doing for our students who are exceeding expectations already. So that would be our blues.
GT is gift.
Yes. And then this is a look at last spring where we were at, and then this spring. So last spring at this time, we had 81% of our students in ELA that were proficient. This year we have 84%. So year over year, we're also looking at data and tracking that now as well. These ones are the most interesting visuals in my opinion. So here's just reading for kindergarten first and second. On the far left is fall and then winter, spring, and where we would need to take our title interventions. So if we just look at kinder, it's pretty incredible how many students were needing a minor intervention or kind of more extensive, and then where we ended the school year at. First grade made some pretty nice gains as well. It's also interesting to me if you look at, so hopefully next year we can look at like spring data from this year's kindergarten class and compare it to the fall data of first grade, because it's right. So we don't have, this isn't the same kids, obviously, but it will be neat to see and be able to track learning loss. Here's third, fourth, and fifth grades.
That actually got a little worse.
So the other thing to know is our Ames Web also expects, like, the bar doesn't stay plateaued, it expects a year's worth of growth. So any of these changes that you're seeing, we also get new students throughout the school year that maybe weren't here at the beginning of the year. We also lose some students. So, but yeah, good catch there.
Just- Medium in the graphic. The trend line though still goes
Yeah.
up, right?
Right.
That's the thing.
And our middle school. So it's pretty nice to see our 8th graders for ELA or English heading out with 0. And this does include any student who is in special education, all of that. Good to see things like this and feel like they are prepared for their next step. So that was reading or English. Do you guys have any questions for me on ELA data? Okay, we'll move on to some math. So again, those proficiency percentages, we went up 15 percentage points. 90% of our students right now are proficient in mathematics, which is way above the state average. And then spring over spring, we're holding steady right at about 90% of our kids being proficient or higher. And then into our tiered grade band groups.
Kindergartners learned a lot.
Our kindergartners did learn a lot. Our kindergartner were kind of a lower class coming in academically, which is reflected here. So it is nice to see all of the growth and hard work that's been put in by the students and our teachers.
Love to see them benchmarked. Like that'd be just cool to see where they're at. And
Yeah.
like how that travels into winter and just watch the benchmark.
So here's 3rd, 4th, 5th. And our middle school. Something neat to note on our 8th graders is after trimester 1, we had about 8 of them actually doing high school algebra 1. It's the same online program that Flathead High School is using for algebra 1. So Mr. Conover worked with a Flathead High math teacher, and our kids were actually synced up with her class and how it runs for a full school year as well. So note that when we're also, not only did our kids still learn their 8th grade standards, but they were passing a 9th grade class, which is pretty incredible. Here's science. So these are last year's and this year's. Only 5th and 8th grade are tested in science in the state of Montana at the state level. So 25 is on the top and 26 is on the bottom, 5th is on the left, 8th is on the right. And these aren't the same classes. So you can look at 8th grade and just say our science tightened up quite a bit. We had a lot more learning, but it's also an entirely different set of kids that took that. But some nice improvements there. I do have statewide data that I can share with you. That is the MAST standardized testing scores.
They figured out how to present that information well.
This is what it looks like right now. So this is 3rd grade and 4th grade. I will just send this out to you. And so you can look, can you see my cursor though? So when you look right here, and you remember what we had just talked about. So this is ELA, English Language Arts. Our Ames Web data is showing that we have like an 85% average proficiency rate. And this is what the statewide data is showing. So until the state even agrees and the rest of the school districts in the state of Montana agree that this is an accurate tool to be testing our students, I'm not necessarily comfortable presenting it like it's solid data. So I will send this out to you. This is what will be on our report card, but this is a concern, the MAST test. It used to be called SBAC, and we used to take the bubble end sheets back in the day, one time at the very end of the school year. 4 years ago, they turned it into 3 tests throughout, or 3 testing windows throughout the school year. They don't have this sorted out. So it's supposed to take 15 minutes per test, and our kids are taking 45 minutes to an hour per test. And there's about 3 or 4 per window, so 12 tests.
So the impression I got of this program when they rolled it out, it was kind of like Ready, Fire, Aim. Just, it didn't seem like they had it set up.
Well, I had agreed, and actually the
State.
school board and I had agreed that we would go ahead and do the pilot program. They have changed this test every year. So you can't change the test every year and tweak something about it or how it's reported out. And say that this is going to be data that we're going to be founded on.
There's no, that's kind of my understanding of, there's almost not a baseline. Testing, so if it's like,
But if you keep changing it, you're not gonna be able to validate what you're measuring is accurate.
Right.
right.
But our Ames web scores align with what teachers are seeing in the classroom. So I will send this whole presentation to you right after this meeting to your Kyler School email, and you can dig through all of that. So that was academics. Now we'll talk about the end of our school year and what we did to kind of build our school culture, but also invite a lot of parents in and just highlight our kids. So since we met last, we had our school talent show. This is not all of the talented students that performed, but we had some individual solo artists who are also playing instruments. Our 6th graders partnered with their Cougar buddies in the top middle to do some sign language to a song. We had some little Zootopia hip hop girls. We had a full cheer, competitive-esque cheer routine in the middle. And this is actually our 5th graders doing a light show with Miss Counts for kind of a showcase event. But we do have some extremely talented kids at this school, and the talent show is always one of my favorites.
Have a lot.
They did. Then just highlighting, we had our first annual student showcase fish fry, delicious fish that was donated by the Alaskan Pollock community. Had some parent volunteers that were great. We had a local band playing out in the field and kind of a Thursday Fest vibe. It was on a Thursday, so we might just call it that again. But turning into an annual event, I got lots of good feedback. We also had a parent-student kickball game that just happened at that event. So you could be listening to music or way over just in the field having fun. There was kids and parents everywhere. And we think about 180 people showed up to that event. And we're just pretty spread out. It was fun. Up top, we had our 8th graders who were practicing shooting off their rockets. And then these are some of the younger students. These are 1st and 2nd grade kiddos watching them practice. And the 8th graders just came over and showed them their rocket, explained a couple things to them, answered some questions while they were waiting for their turn, which I thought was pretty sweet, actually. They could have just ignored the little kids and let them watch, but they went over and had some conversation. After that, Miss Eli also did a project with the 4th graders and had the 8th graders help the 4th graders make stomp rockets and track all of that, which was also very exciting to see our kids leading other kids. On the left, we had our end of year ice cream social and our first ever staff fashion show of lost and found clothes, which was a big hit. We had probably half of our lost and found dwindled after that event, which was great. Unfortunately, we did it the week before school was out and collected quite a bit again after. So we'll think about timing for next year. We had track and field day, which is always a really great event. Only Bissell, Kalispell Montessori, and Smith Valley came and joined us. In the top right, we did have a Moms with Muffins event for kinder, first, second, third. That was pretty well attended. And our first time ever having our Flathead High School graduates come back and walk the halls in their graduation day. So here they are. They found their handprints on the wall, and then we gave them a little graduation hat to put on. And then they just started signing things. So they put in their signature and swooped it with like 2026 and got to decorate their handprint then however they wanted. And they were pretty excited about doing it. And we just let them. That was not planned, but you graduated, whatever you want to do there. So we already have quite a buzz with next year's graduating class. And I think we'll have a couple, we should have had probably 3 more kids at this event. We did have a pretty low graduation rate from this year's graduating class too, who graduated from Flathead. So that's also hopefully a glitch in the data. If they moved away, they count as like a not graduating. When you look at the number of kids who graduated here in 8th grade versus Flathead, we were about half. Doesn't mean that they didn't graduate. Might mean they didn't graduate from Flathead, might have gone to homeschool, might have moved, whatever. But that's one of my main goals for myself, is just being really intentional on our data tracking for next year, and graduation is one of the big ones. So I've talked with Michelle Payne, the principal at Flathead, already about what it might look like to do some intervention things with some of our kids before they were a potential dropout. So just track them before they're seniors and make it feel like we still care about you after you leave here, not just welcome back in 4 years. But these kids were really amazing at sharing their plans. They were very excited about what they're going to do next. Yeah, pretty cute. Then we did our own graduation walk with our 8th graders. This year's class elected not to wear gowns or caps. But the kids were pretty excited to congratulate them on their last day. They come for Monday morning, do a couple dry run-throughs, do the graduation walk, and then they go home and come back for graduation. So that's kind of how we wrapped up our year. So what I just shared with you was May and June, those 2 rows. But I do think I've shown you guys these pictures kind of as we've gone throughout the school year. I think it's really important to share with you all of the things that we do. And so here's a full list of all of the events by month of what we do provide and offer our kids, which is pretty extensive, I think, for a small school district. So I will share this presentation with you guys as well, and you can have a copy of this. So we're just adding and honing in all of these things. But this is why when someone says, oh, we were wondering if we could do another movie night sometime for the whole school. Well, we can. When would you like to do it? What else are we doing? And who's going to run it? So we did do a couple of extra things in May this year, and our staff was really tired by the end. So I think we need to spread out and have some intentionality around why we're doing what we're doing, not just because somebody thinks it's a great idea, but what would make sense for the full big picture. And then facility updates. So we had the company came, they redid gutters. If they weren't damaged, we didn't have them replace them. They just cleaned them out then. Lots of them were replaced. The downspouts were replaced with a thicker and wider PVC pipe rather than fire hose that was screwed in. And hopefully that will be a little bit more long lasting and get the water away from our buildings a little bit better. doors are getting ordered tomorrow, and then we will be able to replace the front door to the office building and the back door to the office building is what had been approved. We have decided to, instead of double doors leading into the office, it's going to be one window panel all the way down and one larger or wider door with a window rather than two. And it will be ADA compliant. So if we ever redid the front vestibule area or turn it into a vestibule, it would already be ADA accessible or compliant. Hopefully those will get here by the end of July, and then those can be installed in August. Currently, Silco is in the gym, literally currently. There's just one extra area of smell that seems to turn on when it rains, when the pumps back up for the sumps and then it comes out through the gym. There's some uncapped something in the gym, and that's what he's digging into right now. We think that it's when the septic pumps turn back on and push whatever's in there back up. It should just go up and through the vent that's already there. What we think is happening, and we found two other areas where it was not plugged properly in some curves. And I'm not a plumber. This is just my explanation of what I understand is happening. But we think there's one more area, and it's right by the drinking fountains, probably in that wall. So when it does smell, the closer you get to the drinking fountains in the gym, the stronger it is. And then you could be way over by the kitchen now and not smell anything. Where in the past it was kind of, if it smelled, it was everywhere.
It's been a multi-year trying to figure it out.
And we're almost there.
It seems like we're almost there. I'll be very excited. It actually works.
It's gonna work. Asphalt and sealing and restriping is supposed to happen Thursday and Friday this week. Unfortunately, now it is supposed to rain and or thunderstorm, so that may be put on hold, but he's emailed me during this meeting actually to let me know that he is gonna keep close eye on it, and they can still do the asphalt piece, they just can't do the striping yet, so it'll look nice, but it might just be black for a while. Jim and Jackie are doing a really terrific job in the classrooms. Things are moving around, and almost all of the classrooms are done, with the exception of carpets. And then we'll start tackling like the stripping and waxing of the floors. We did also get the one-way window film for all of these windows that are down at like eye height. So when it's daytime out, you can see out. It's kind of like sunglasses is what we decided in the office to call it. You can see out with some sunglasses, but you can't see in. But when it is dark out and the lights are on inside, you can see straight through it. So grass has been seeded, and John and I have come up with, well, John has, and I've just said, sounds great, a plan to, can't remember what it's called, but you're essentially digging the little hole chunks out of the, aerating it. Yeah. And we're going to do that down by the post office where the hill comes down, and it's just this muddy thing. So there's probably twice as much grass in there as the end of school right now, but we're hoping if we aerate it, we can do that. If we were to sod things, it's very expensive. So, but I do want our kids to have grass when we come back. So that we're also going to do it up by the flagpole. So with the asphalt and the grass, things are going to be roped off, and I'm just hoping that the community is respectful of those things. I'm not going to stand here and bodyguard those, but signs will be clearly posted and hopefully respected. We are in the works of getting a full truckload of wood chips from Weyerhaeuser donated again. So if you guys know anyone who has the actual truck, if we could get that donated, it would be completely free. So just let me know. And then in lieu of what happened yesterday morning, I'd actually already gotten a bid for a secure entrance to the office building and what it would be, planning for next year. But I think that the office staff and I need to have a serious conversation after what we witnessed yesterday morning on having it installed this year. So, fortunately, you've just approved that I don't have to wait till August board meeting to actually get that put in. It's under $10,000. But I will keep you guys updated if we make a intense change like that. And so I am, speaking of windows and doors, we do have someone coming from which company for the windows? Mhm. Shepherd's Glass tomorrow or Thursday. Soon to get a quote for those. I'm also speaking with the county attorney to see how we're going to go about reparations or whatever for that, but chances are we're probably going to eat that cost.
Is it enough cost to do an insurance claim?
No, probably not.
Our deductible's $2,500.
And then I don't know if you and Abe plan on continuing on the long range facility plan, but we do need to have a meeting end of July or beginning of August prior to next board meeting. Because of our next agenda item, which is the preliminary design contracts, we need to start getting some movement on those. The principal hat of my duo or trio of hats really took over at the end of the school year, and I would have liked to have done this at the end of the school year. It was also the end of the school year, and most of the committee has students that they're really focusing on, and it's hard to get a committee together the last week of school. But do we do committees in August, right? The committee assignments. So if you and Abe could come together and figure out a time
Yeah.
in that range,
You know, see what.
and then whoever can come to that or not will be great. And then we can present to the board. I will have those two. So there's Morrison Merrily and there's McKinstry that have given us contracts for a design. I would like them to explain either to the committee or the board the difference between the contracts and what they offer. So that will either be done to the committee and then committee will bring a recommendation, or the committee will chat with what I can gather and then they will present to the board and the committee will still have a recommendation of what to do and where we're going. But that would essentially be, what are we doing with that area? Are we going to move forward with enclosing the two buildings and having one secure entrance? And we need to get a move on that. If we do go out for a bond, we have to know by like November. So we're kind of running out of time. Yeah. All right.